When we first started Supply and Procurement Australia, it was simply an electricity contract. If we look at where the relationship's at today, it's really moved to a demand aggregation model, and that is, with all the members of Procurement Australia coming together as one, it allows Procurement Australia to take advantage of more effective purchasing across electricity, across gas, across green energy and renewable products. There's two key emerging issues. There's many emerging issues, but two of the key ones that come to mind is, first of all, carbon constraints in the market. So what that means is that we're entering an environment where there's legislation and policy being developed around carbon emissions, and what that relates to in the energy market is low emission generation. So that is substituting coal technologies for things like gas, wind power, solar, hydro. The other is what we call smart grid, and smart grid will transform what we do today, what we see today in terms of how we measure electricity particularly, and how the information flows. So I'll give you an example. Is at the moment the government is sponsoring what they call AMI, Advanced Metering Infrastructure, in the state of Victoria. It's installing smart meters or half-hourly meters in residential, domestic, small business premises. And what that'll mean, we'll be able to look at the energy that's used on a half-hourly basis, and customers will be able to manage their energy accordingly to be able to save money and save energy moving forward. It's probably important to understand that with all of these measures coming in, whether it's a carbon reduction policy or the mandatory renewable energy schemes, that's going to increase cost across the whole of the market. Procurement Australia members aren't immune to that. Add to that the need for distribution companies or the transporters of energy to upgrade their infrastructure to deal with the growing demand of what's happening in the energy market. And there's an opportunity for Procurement Australia members to look at how they use their energy. I reference a program in the water industry such as Target 155. It's changing the culture about how people think about using water. Well, energy is going down the same track. If people continue to use energy the way that it's been used in the past, including members of Procurement Australia, then the peak demand is going to grow higher and higher. That increases the cost of the infrastructure required to deliver that energy. If you look at the introduction again of the smart grid technologies and smart meters, that'll allow AGL to work with Procurement Australia to look at how you change the energy patterns, and also at the same time reduce the carbon footprint across Procurement Australia members. The revised renewable energy target of 20% across Australia, which requires 20% of energy to be sourced from zero emission renewable generation, is going to continue to put pressure on organisations to deliver energy with zero emissions and purchase energy with zero emissions.